it's funny how that Trump supporters will go to the extreme for one man. Now, this is the thing that irks me about the difference between Black Lives Matter and Trump supporters. Is that not attacked, but they literally went for the Capitol Hill building. All in defense of one man. While Black Lives Matters won't even go that far as to get past to police to do anything that serious. Black Lives Matter has raided buildings, not homes, but just buildings and stores and stuff, looting, all that. But they won't even go to the source of the government. But even when they did, when they were standing outside the White House, you know what they did? They stood there. Literally stood there. And did nothing. They just sat there, held their signs, and went peacefully. Now, I get it. You're trying to set an example. You're trying to set an image. You want to not trying to be like one of those guys. You don't want to be like that people. And I understand that. But at the end of the day, these people are beating us, killing us, brutalizing us. Beating, brutalizing, but it's the same thing. Robbing us, taking our rights. And it's hilarious how we let that slide. It's funny how they get away with it. But that's it. What does riot and looting do? You're just stealing. You can get replaced. Tear gas getting shot out. They won't even go towards the tear gas. They would back up from the police. Right? When there's like a formation coming towards them, they'll back up. And the police be beating the crap out of them. Beating the crap out of them. Which I never really understood, because it's like when you see one or two people down, there's literally more of y'all than there is police. You could literally grab something and rob them of what they got. Literally. Take it from them. You could literally take it from them. You could literally take everything from them. Like they burned down the police station. They did that. You could obviously can take it. If your rights really mean that much, then you should do what them Trump supporters did right there. Because obviously peace ain't working. It's like everywhere I look, there's like tons of death. Death. Not just from COVID, not just from other things. Then I look back, then I'm looking, and there's even more brutalities going on. We sit there and we march. Sure, you may be in the community, cops flying by, and you just smash the car, but what does that do? What does that do? They literally infiltrated Capitol Hill, trying to make Trump win. They literally infiltrated. But we would stand there. We'd rather stand outside of that than get in that. And I get it, cops have their training and stuff, so they might have a little bit more of an advantage. But I'm like, there's more of us. We have more of an advantage. They got tear gas, they got pellets. Yeah, but I was seeing them line up trash cans and making barriers, and throwing stuff. I'm like, and their aiming is trash. Like, literally, the people who have been throwing bottles and stuff can't aim for nothing. They shoot tear gas, they back up. I'm like, no, go forward. If your rights really mean that much and you want to fix it, you got to fight. To me, they just proved something that I never think it was even possible. And they did it for one man. But we're fighting for Our community, our whole community. So what does that prove? What does that prove? What is that telling us? What I'm hearing is that black people don't care as much. They care to the point where it's like, okay, this is the line we got to draw. But then again, I get it. I still understand though the consequences of what happens, because as black people get mistreated, there's probably going to be more cops, more arrests, maybe even more shootings. And that's sad. But if we were to stand together and fight with each other, instead of doing all this recording and stuff, we got the news, let them do that mess. Doing all this recording, yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I like the riots. All right, I like seeing, the windows get smashed, and I don't really like the looting as much because it just doesn't prove a point. It just proves that people are selfish. But the rioting, when you riot, because it seems like that they've been doing more work than the protests, the peaceful ones. And when you see that, I don't know. And then the cops and stuff come over, and they just disband. I'm like, y'all ain't even moving that fast, and you ain't getting nowhere. Take them head on. Prove your stand right there. Fight. Fight them. If you want your rights, if you want generations to come to be free, because I'll admit it, America is not a free country at all, then you need to fight. Not kill. Fight. Stand your ground. Now, I don't know what it is or why they don't do it. I keep telling myself maybe it's the women telling the men no. But I feel like the women are probably just as fired up and ready to go as the men are. Probably because the children, both women and children, men ain't gonna tolerate that. And then there's women in the police force, and then men ain't gonna be doing nothing about that. So there's just a lot of reasons. More artillery, more call for backup, tear gas. Not everyone's gonna be prepared. So there's a lot of consequences of the fact that what I'm saying about the whole fighting. But I mean, it's like, I feel like we could do it. I feel like we could probably fight for our rights like that. What I saw was just about the Trump. I'm happy they didn't get in, but it was just, I felt kind of ashamed of the fact that they would go to that extreme for one man, but we can't do it for our whole community. Our whole community. Really makes you think. How much do we really care? Sure, of course, the struggle is real, but black people have been suffering for 400 plus years. Like, even they fought the cops head on. I mean, of course, more peaceful than anything, but we got to remember we're in a whole nother age than they were. Back then, they didn't have a choice but to have peace. If they didn't have peace, they would be coming into their rooms, taking them, lynching them, slaughtering them, like Black Summer, right? Is that what it's called? I think it's or Black or Red Summer. It was one of those two. I think it was Red Summer. Like they did. Taking them, killing them in the streets. But now, we can do that. We have mixed forces. We can fight. It's not like it was back then. This whole getting your voice heard, yeah, that's cool. But who's really hearing the voice? Who's hearing it? Nobody's caring about your voice. You can shoot this whole little, make your voice heard. But nobody cares. You can speak. This doesn't mean people have to listen. It's just that simple. You can speak, but doesn't mean people listen. Doesn't mean people care. That's obviously what I'm seeing. You may get a few, and you may say, yeah, that's all that matters. If things may be running a little bit slow, because it takes a while. But some people aren't going to change. And now it's time to go to the source. The source is the government. I feel like, and it's ridiculous why I say it, but I feel like all other races need to just overthrow the government. All races. Because white people have just treated us like crap. Literal crap. I feel like all races need to just band together and just overthrow that government. This is a white government. We already know. Doesn't matter what you put in. You can put in a black female vice president. You can put in a black president. You can put all that. Doesn't mean anything. Senates, whatever you want to do. So what? Doesn't mean much. That's them. What about us? You can try and put rights in there. It doesn't mean people are going to listen to those rights. Go to the government. Take out that government. You'll get somewhere. Overthrow the government. But, that's all I got to say. That's really all I got to say, man. This is disappointing. They will go that far for one man. But we will never go that far for our own rights. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I might do more research after this, but it's still just incredible.